All right, welcome everybody. So yeah, let's get started. I think a nice opener is to maybe start a little bit slightly reclined for our pranayam, and so we'll give you a couple options. You can lay your bolster, or if you have a blanket roll, you'll lay it along your mat, so along the mat. Oop, oop. I'll go show you here in a second, and maybe an additional support under your head. So I'm going to be using blocks. That's what I have available here. If you have two blocks, you'll have one block on the low setting, and that'll be sort of in the middle back of your mat. And then the other block will be a little higher. So it's just I'm gonna put my hips on the ground. I'm gonna put the one block under my ribs or shoulders, and the other block under my head. So the higher block is under my head. If that's a little too much pressure, you could also use a bolster long ways with then a blanket over the bolster. I'm just going to come look at the screen, make sure everyone's got something that looks kind of comfortable. Yeah, that looks good. And your hips should be on the floor. Your shoulders should be slightly raised. And then your head should be slightly raised more than that. And it's a feel-based thing. Yeah, everyone looks pretty good. You should be able to put your arms by your sides and not have it impinge your shoulder in any way. One thing to keep note, Kathy, if you're comfortable, that's great. If anyone else, is that your ribs might be too high. If you start to feel a little bit of a stretch or a little bit of pinching in the low back, you might want to just scoot your hips further away. But if your body's comfortable, stick with it. You know, this is the key is just to open up the front body a little bit. And then from this posture, you can keep your knees bent or extended out. Bring the palms open. And start to breathe in and out through your nose. The block or the bolster should really support this opening at the top of your chest. It should sort of support this releasing of the shoulder blades off of the neck. If you don't mind, take your hands now to the sides of your ribs, just gently resting the palm on the side of your ribs. And breathe in and out through the nose. See if you can feel on the inhalation, the side ribs expand into the hands. And they contract on the exhale. A couple more just like that. Using the hands as guidance to send the breath into the side of the ribs. Inhale. They kind of contract on the exhale. More like that. You can take one hand and kind of put it near the top of your chest where your collarbones are. And see if you can get that area to rise as you inhale. So a chest breath, lifting up at the top of the chest. Inhale. Exhale to soften down a little bit. You put one hand on your belly or both hands on your belly near the navel height. And as you inhale, you want the belly to expand up into the air a little bit. We're not arching our back to do this. We're just practicing a diaphragmatic breath, which will cause the belly to rise on the inhalation. Good. Now you're gonna just try to alternate between them. So you're gonna do a belly breath, 1, and exhale. Do a rib breath, 2, and exhale. Do a chest breath, 3, and exhale. So again, belly breath, 1, nice and slow, through the nose. Rib breath, 2, chest breath, 3, belly breath, rib breath, chest breath. More time, belly, full breaths, a little different than how we normally practice this. Chest, I'm sorry, ribs, and chest. Father your shoulder, you can lift your arms up a little higher than your head. Let's just extend our arms out. They might float in the air. They are going to, for me, float the arms out in a V sort of pattern over the head. So towards the back end of your mat, extending the arms, maybe extending the elbow, just opening up. And let's do another couple side rib breaths here. And we've got the arms out overhead, lifted. Good. Let's bring the legs back, our arms back down. Just a little more grounded now. You're just going to gently roll and drop your leg. Keep your body on the blocks, but just sort of roll your hips or knees to the left. Stay on the blocks just a little bit. Just enough so you don't want to overstrain your twists. You're going to drop the knees over to the other side. Twist our legs to the first side one more time. Twist our legs to the second side one more time. Kind of roll off the props to your side. Remove the props from underneath you. If you want one for your head, that's great. You can welcome that. And then just lay on your back. Maybe a little bit of head support. That feels good to you. You're just going to keep your knees bent and pull the right knee. Pull the right knee into your chest. Use the hands as you exhale. And then go ahead and release that foot to the floor. Let's go ahead and bring up the left leg. On the exhale, pull the knee in towards the chest or the ribs. And release the foot to the floor. Just alternate a couple times. Bring up the leg and then pull in on the knee or behind the knee with the hands. Just opening the back of the hip a little bit. Warming up the hip flexor. Interlock your fingers and stretch your palms up into the sky towards the ceiling. And then as you go up to the ceiling, now start to take the palms over your head, maybe to the floor behind you. They might not reach. You want to listen to your shoulder. Just start to open up the shoulder in that way. Extending overhead. Good. If you can, keep reaching out overhead and pull both knees up into the sky. Floating the feet or floating the shins about parallel with the floor. Just rock the hips to one side just a little bit. Using the core to stabilize. Rock the knees to the other side just a little bit, not all the way. One more time, rock to the first side. And rock to the second side. Good. Bring the feet down and bring the hands to your body, resting the hands on your body. Breathe here. Rest your nervous system. Good. Go ahead, put your left hand on the top of your head and just gently pull your head over to the left side a little bit so you open the right side of your neck. And then rest your right hand on the floor near your hips. And just sort of walk your fingertips away from the shoulder. So you open the neck a little more deeply. Let's roll back to center. Go ahead, put the right hand on your head and gently bring the head over to the right side of the mat. Go ahead, put the left hand down by the hip, palm down. You can just walk the fingertips away from the shoulder, opening up the left neck. Right hand kind of keeps the head from rolling back to center. You can gently even push your head against your hand to create a little bit of resistance, just a little bit. It's the neck after all. Good. Coming back to center. Bring your left knee up and put your left ankle on your right knee. You're going to be able to pull that thigh towards your body, or if you want, just go ahead and grab your left ankle and pull that towards your body. And then release, and we'll alternate like this. So you're going to put your right ankle on the left thigh, and then pull on the left thigh or that right ankle towards the body. Replace, switch sides. And when you pull with the arms, try to pull on the exhalation. It'll help the belly muscles descend and help bring that thigh in a little deeper. Let's just go back and forth now. Breathe and move. Stay concentrated on your breathing as you move. It's so easy to forget to breathe. Go ahead and place the soles of the feet together and allow your knees to drop open. Butterfly legs. As you do butterfly legs, you're going to interlock your fingers, and you can either make them like a pillow under your head or even keep your arms open, kind of like a field goal post that was caving in above your head. But if you've got your hands behind your head, that's great too. And now you're just going to turn your gaze and look at your right elbow with your gaze or your nose, keeping your head in place, just rotating it. Breathe here. Lengthen and slow our breath. We breathe deep into our bodies. This calms the nervous system and it allows our muscles and fascia to just create a different quality, a different suppleness. It really starts to down-regulate us and calm us down. We actually get a little bit of an altered state. You're going to rotate your head the other direction. This altered state, I personally feel, is one of the biggest benefits of a yoga practice. That's what really causes a lot of rejuvenation to our well-being. This altered sort of down tempo mental state by being sensitive to our body and slowing our breathing. Back to center. Release the hands and gently bring up the legs one at a time or at the same. You're going to go ahead and pull the left knee into the body and just gently reach that foot into the sky and lower it down. Go ahead and pull the right knee into the body, gently reach the foot into the sky, and then lower it down. We're just going to do these sort of like bike pedal gestures. Inhale, bringing the left leg up, bike pedal. Nice and slow, just to warm up the core. Left leg up, bike pedal. I'm just going to continue at your own pace, breathing mindfully, breathing steadily. One more time, drop the knees, both knees to one side, and look and gaze the opposite direction. And drop your knees to the other side. Look and gaze the opposite direction. Go back to neutral. Curl your forehead off the mat and stare through your knees. You can put your fingertips on your thighs. You should feel the core engaged. If you can, hover your feet 6 inches off the ground. And then lower the feet, lower the shoulders and head. Do that again. Begin by gently peeling the forehead off the mat, looking through the knees. Put your fingertips on your thighs or knees. Elbows extended. You can float your feet about 6 inches off the ground. Breathe. You should feel the core engaged to do this. Breathe. And then feet down, shoulders and head down. Keep breathing. Keep breathing so much that I wouldn't have to say it because the instruction wouldn't mean anything to you. You are already doing it very presently, very consciously. Let's curl the forehead up off the ground, looking through the knees. Put the fingertips on the thighs, float the feet. Breathe here. Go ahead, cross your ankles. You can rock back and then rock up to a comfortable seated posture. Or just roll to your side. Placing the hands on the knees, let's gently bring our chest forward. You can lift the chin to open the throat. Inhale. And then exhale, place the hand, walk the hands behind you. You can lift the chest here if you want. You can push your shins down and lift your hips up a little bit. And then drop it down. Walk it forward. Inhale, chest forward, chin up. Just a little bit. Just keep that low back mobile. We don't want the low back to feel tense during any portion of this movement. Hands behind you. You can push down and lift up if you'd like. Exhale, sit down, walk forward. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Maybe inhale, give your chest or hips a little lift. Good. Let's bring our knees up. Feet up. We can take the feet a little wider. And we're going to windshield wiper our legs to one side. Breathe here. Windshield wiper the legs to the other side. Breathe here. And coming back to center, let's swivel our legs off to the side here and start to walk the right leg back and then the left leg back. Good. Sitting back a little bit, child's pose, and then rock forward. lying on the belly. Extend the legs out long, gently peel up the spine. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, gently peel up the spine. Exhale, lower down. Go ahead and lean onto your right side a little bit. Bring up your left thigh. Parallel, you can slide that thigh out, almost like you're a G.I. Joe character. And then turn and look to the right. You can rest your cheek or your ear on the floor. So as you turn your head to the right, reach your left hand straight out in front of you, palm down. Breathe here. Good. Place that hand under the shoulder. Let's walk that leg back to straight. And then go ahead, roll onto your left side. Let's bring up our right thigh. G.I. Joe posture. Turn your head over to the left side. And go ahead and reach that right arm straight out. Bring the arm back under your shoulders. Step the leg back. Inhale, peel up. Let the hips be heavy. And then exhale, push back. Child's pose. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. And go ahead and step even off the right side of your mat. And step your left foot wide. Just bend into that front knee. Kneeling lunge. Sit back and lift the toes for a moment. And then once again, bend to the lunge. Sit back. Good, let's replace it. Tabletop pose. And walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. Bring up our right foot. Wide lunge, low lunge, bend to the knee. And then sit back. You can lift the toes a little bit. Bend to the knee. Sit back. One more round like that. And step back, tabletop pose. Good, go ahead, press your hands down. And rotate the eyes of the elbow to point forward. So that's the elbow crease. Rotate, hands don't move. But the eyes of the elbow point forward. So just gently bend your elbow straight back, keeping those arms in against the ribs, and push up. You don't have to lower down that much, you're just lowering down a little. Rotate the eyes of the elbow to point forward. Gently bend, keeping those arms against the side ribs. You don't have to go a quarter of the way. Just try to feel that shoulder being opened through strength, through stability. You don't have to go all the way down. Rotate the eyes of the elbow, bend a quarter of the way, and press back up. You can do this on your knees. It's still quite challenging. Rotate the eyes of the elbows, bend a quarter of the way, and press back up. Really good. Let's turn our palms up, coming down onto our elbows or our forearms, and just sit the hips back a moment, sending the hips towards the heels. Try to sink your heart down through your shoulder blades if you can. Still breathing. Good. Let's bring those forearms to the front of the mat if they're not already there. And then you can turn the palms down and actually grab. It's like a sled. Like you remember those little toboggan sleds? You pull the front edge. You're gonna hold your mat edge knuckles or fingernails down, and your elbows are going to be down. So you can kind of grab that mat edge, tuck the toes, and walk your knees back a little bit. Try to keep your shoulders over your elbows if you can, and if you want, now you're going to lift your knees, straight legs, and just breathe here. Put one knee down on the ground, and then both knees down on the ground. Go ahead and lift the knee that went down first, and then lift the other knee up as well. Let's do that again. One knee down on the ground, both knees down on the ground. Lift the knee that went down first, and then lift both knees. Good, knees down, drop the pelvis down, and try to pull the mat forward with your fingertips. Pull the mat forward with your fingertips, open your spine this way. Breathe here. Good, relax down. Go ahead and walk your hands out wide, wider than your yoga mat. And prop yourself up on just the finger pads. Propping yourself up on just the finger pads, push down through the finger pads. Push down through the finger pads and try to send your elbows forward into your hands. Use this to lift up your chest in a wide-armed cobra pose. Pushing down from our elbows through our finger pads. Breathe here. Fill in the back of your heart, the back of the shoulder blade, and lower down. Good. Reach out with your right hand and put it flat on the floor again. Reach out in front of you with your right hand and put it flat on the floor again. Use your left hand. It didn't really move from where it was in that wide arm cobra. And push with your left hand so that your hips are stacked on top of each other. With your hips stacked on top of each other, bend your left knee in and then rotate the knee to the sky, opening that hip. Rest your head on your right arm and see if you can gaze at the sky a little bit. Good, bring that knee down. Let's go back to our center. And go ahead and slide that left hand out in front and pull the right hand back a little wide near the shoulder. Push with the right hand and roll up your hips so your right is on top of your left. Bend your right knee and then lift it to the sky so your foot comes to the floor. Be in that stretch. You can nestle the back of your head against your arm and look up at the sky. Good. Rotate back to center. Billy, you can go to the wall for this one. We're going to push up and then we're going to push back to our downward facing dog pose. In your downward facing dog pose, you're going to take your left toes and you're going to kind of hook your big toe and your second toe in the Achilles heel of the right foot. It's a one-legged dog. You're going to put that foot back down. Left foot down. You're going to take the right foot up. And you're going to put the big toe and the second toe and hook it or wedge it in between the heel, Achilles, of the left leg. And just let it hang down. Come back to center. You're going to bend both knees and you're going to make a circle with your knees. That's drawing a circle with your knees, getting the ankle and hip joints active. Draw a couple more circles in your down dog. And then reverse the circle for three rounds. Bend the knees, press them into the floor. Inhale, curl up through your chest. Tabletop pose. You come back to the mat now, Billy. Go ahead, walk the left fingertips out in front and stretch the right toes back. Here's some leg curls. Just pull the right knee into the belly and then extend it back. Pull the thigh into the belly and then extend it back, using mindful breathing to create a simplicity of tone. Pull the right leg into the belly and then back. A couple more times. Draw it in. You can cut that toe, touch the floor. It doesn't have to stay in the air. When you step it back, it can touch the floor. Then you just bring it in and off the ground. Last round. Let's come back to our tabletop. Go ahead, put out your right fingers and extend your left leg back. Exhale, pull the thigh to the body, and step back. Thigh to the body, that's an exhale. Inhale back. Thigh to the body, and back. Thigh to the body, and back. Two more. Exhaling in, inhaling back. Last one, squeeze. And rest. We're going to open the knees and sit back with our hips, child's pose. Find that long, slow breath again. Do not waver. Pull the breath into the body. Let's come back up to our tabletop posture again. I'm going to inhale. This time lift the left leg up into the air, toe in the air, and roll the hip open. Opening that hip all the way back. Almost like you're going to step that foot behind you, but it doesn't. And then bring it back down. Let's do the same thing other side. Lift the right toe straight up into the air. Knee is bent. Rotate the hip all the way open like you're going to drop that foot behind you, but then it doesn't. And back down. One more time. Let's lift up left leg. Rotate open. Back down. Inhale, lift up right leg. Rotate open. And then back down. Good. Downward facing dog stretch. Walk the feet a little forward, walk the hands a little back. Today, bend your knees enough. You can use blocks if you'd like, whatever it takes, but bend your knees enough that your belly muscles rest on your thighs. Bend your knees enough so that your belly muscles rest on your thighs. And let the back go. You bend your knees a lot to do this, no problem. Once you've got the belly muscles against the thighs, you're welcome to re-straighten the legs any amount. Or you could just shift the weight into the ball of the foot a little bit. The heel is still completely down. You're just shifting the weight a little bit forward. Good, let's rock back. And then inhale, come up to a standing pose. Stretch your arms up, hook your thumbs above your head and reach up and back with your fingertips. Good, let's go down again. You can find the blocks or the table ledge, whatever you need. Do bend your knees enough that you're resting the belly on the thighs. It's a little different way to explore a forward fold. You can even put a pillow in between your thighs and your belly. So it allows the low back to really release into the posture. Keeping your knees at that level of bend. Inhale, stretch the spine and chin forward any amount. Belly against the thighs. And then exhale, let's drop it down again. Inhale, extend the chin and spine forward. Belly still against the thighs. And then drop it down again. Rock back into the balance of your feet. Let's rise up to standing. Hook the thumbs, reach up to the sky, and open the palms back. Exhale, bowing again. Bending again. Peel the chin forward. You can put those blocks near the front of the mat if they're not there already. And go ahead and step the left leg back. So maybe the left leg's at the back of the mat, the right leg's in the middle of the mat, and our hands are at the front of our mat. Just this long, staggered lunge, warrior sort of stance. And just sway your hips now. The shorter stance, you can sway our hips safely, side to side. Make sure the feet are planted. Good, step it forward, then change legs. Sway the hips side to side. Good, step it forward, and let's rise back up. Good. You're gonna step and stagger, putting your left foot in front, and then you're gonna walk it over. So you're like in a straight line with your feet. Your feet are staggered, so they're narrow, a narrow stance. You can touch your fingertips together. And just plant your feet and just, with the legs straight, just gently start to lower the fingertips like there's a weight, a plumb weight being dropped towards your toes. And just sort of let your legs sort of balance and relax. They might wobble, but we're not tense. Don't go past tension. You're going to get quite an opening here just by being at your edge. If you go past your edge, it can actually be too intense on your joints. So really try to find that safe zone where the muscles can release and get the opening in the outer hips here. Good, lean back to rise up. Good, so a narrow, short stance will get the most benefit from this type of posture. So you're gonna bring the right foot forward and over in the center line. Narrow and straight stance with those knees straight. Fingertips touch, drop the hands like they're a plumb weight, straight down. You might only go a quarter or halfway, that's fine. It's about stretching and opening the outer legs. Keep the feet planted and flat. Keep the thighs even, thighs can touch still. Good, inhale, lean back to rise up. Go ahead and step your right foot to the right edge of your mat. Cover the left edge with your left toes. And bend your front knee, warrior one stance. Wide warrior one stance. Inhale, swoop the arms up to the sky. Take a deep breath here. And then pull the hands down and back behind you. As you pull back behind you, round and curl your upper back. Inhale, warrior one, arms slide up to the sky. down and back. Rounding, curling the upper back, dropping the head a little bit. Inhale, up. Exhale, down and back, last round, all in warrior one stance. And then step yourself out of your pose. You're gonna put your left foot over the left edge. You're gonna step your right toes back on the right edge. Do a nice wide stance. Bend that front knee over the heel. Inhale, open the arms up. We'll do a couple rounds, just like last time. Exhale, down and back, curling the spine. Inhale, up. Exhale, down and back. Pull those arms back. Inhale, up. Exhale, down and back. Last round. Your own pace. And then step out of the mat, or just out of the pose. Turn your palms to face front and open them a little bit past front. So you feel this opening at the front of your shoulder. Honor this opening in the front of your shoulder. Try to intensify or embellish that opening at the front of your shoulder, bringing the thumbs back a little further. Good, breathe into that. If it's available to you, you might even try to pinch the elbows towards each other behind your back. Mindful not to let the ribs protrude forward too much. Good, if you can, start to open the throat here and breathe. Concentrate on your balance now. As you shift your weight to your right foot, you'll step your left foot back and push your hands out in front in one motion. And then we're going to open up again as you step back to mountain. Finding those storybook openings at the front of the shoulder. You can cinch the elbows back. One motion, balancing on the left. Step the right back and push the hands forward. Ooh, that's my trickier side. Coordinated movement. Open the arms out. Open the front of the shoulder. Pinch the elbows a little. Let's shift to the right foot. Left leg back. Toe touches. Push forward. Open up. Inhale. We're going to exhale. Push. Step the right foot back. Open up. Left foot back. Push forward. Open up. Right foot back. Good. From here, open up warrior two posture. Open that inner thigh, send the left knee towards the pinky toe. Go ahead, straighten the front leg, and let's drop into our triangle posture. You can close your stance a little. Lift the top arm to the sky. Really take that top arm out overhead, over the front edge of your mat. And let's bend our front knee, drop the right hand to the floor, and you'll twist your lunge, sending your left arm to the sky. Both hands on the floor, step back, downward facing dog pose. Go ahead, push the second side, the right foot forward, and come on up, warrior two. Our warrior two today will emphasize opening up the inner thigh. So you're sending the right knee out to cover the pinky toe edge. You can't see your pinky toe. Breathe here. And straighten the legs. And close your stance as you pull the hips back. And we'll drop into triangle pose. Just concentrating on that long, slow breath. Moving the breath into the different areas of the pose. Where can I breathe now? How about the back ribs in this posture? All right, for me, it's the back top rib. I get more access, the left kidney area. I'm gonna take that top arm, reach it out overhead. Really opening up that left kidney area with the breath. And then place the hand down. And let's twist our lunge, open the right arms to the sky somewhat. Good. Hands down, downward facing dog pose. Roll down onto your knees. Sit back and roll up to kneeling. Bring your shoulders up, back, and down. You can put your hands on your low back as you look up to the sky. Exhale, sit the hips back, slide your hands down your knees. Inhale, bring your shoulders up, back, and down. Support your low back as you look up. Inhale. Exhale, hands go down the thighs to the knees. One more like that. Inhale, up. Lift up. Exhale down. Bring the hands in front again. You're going to step your left foot forward. You're going to lift your back knee up high and just hold this lunge, high lunge with the hands down. Push your crown as far forward as you can. Breathe here. Good. Now turn and spin that back foot down. Plant your heel. Bring your left hand near your inner leg. I put my hand on a block. And then let's lift our right arm up, side angle pose. Rotating the ribs up, the front chest up, looking at our palm. Good. Let's come back down, turn that back heel up, drop the back knee down, and gaze up with the chin. My arm is inside my front thigh. Let's sit back, runner stretch. Just lift those front toes up a little bit. Hang with that posture for a moment. Send your sit bones towards the floor. And then let's step back, kneeling pose. Walk the hands over to your left a little bit. Go ahead and take a big old step forward with that right foot. You're gonna tuck the back toes and lift up. So we're in a lunge pose. Squeeze your thighs towards the midline and reach your crown forward. Breathe here. Looks good. Lift the belly, lift the hips up a little higher so the core is stable. That's it, nice. Go ahead now, pivot that back heel down and in. You're gonna walk your right hand against your right shin, your right arm against your right shin. And then lift that left arm up into side angle pose, staring at the palm. Good, bring the hand down. We're gonna lower that back knee down and swoop forward. Exhale, sink back, runner stretch. And let's go back, tabletop posture. Take a moment here in tabletop just to do some cat-cows. Get those shoulders mobile by moving the rib cage up and then down and through the shoulder blades. Just starting to activate the strength we've accumulated. We warm the body so the arms can be strong here, and you can get a lot of mobility and freedom in that shoulder. Once you do this instead of as a warm-up, but you practice it after you've warmed up. You're trying to move that rib cage, sinking the ribs down and through the shoulders. And then when you lift, you broaden your shoulders as much as possible. So the head bobbing, but you're not tucking it or lifting it. You're more just moving your rib cage. 2 more like that. Feeling that mobility in your shoulders. You can now shrug one shoulder nice and high. You come back and then shrug the other shoulder nice and high, like a shoulder flossing. You're flossing the shoulders. Back to the first side. Back to the second side. One more time. Good. Let's press up, plank pose, and then a down dog. And step to a forward bend. You're going to bend your knees. You can rest your belly on your thighs as you slowly roll up to standing. Good. We're going to practice some balancing postures today. I would invite you to really work on the balancing. So the way that you'll do that, if you're going to use the wall today, is to bring your arms straight out like a T. And you'll just have the one finger, probably the middle finger, the longest finger, just gently rest on the wall surface for balance. And you're not leaning into the wall in any way. You're distancing yourself so that it's just there for awareness. And if that's not enough support, you can just tilt the wrist and get all 5 fingertips, but you're still not leaning on the wall today. Okay. If not, obviously you can just practice in the middle room. Arms out, extend a line of energy from fingertip to fingertip, and then shift your weight into your right foot. And let's bring our left knee up into the air. We'll just hold that pose for a moment. And focus on making long lines of energy, folks. Straight out across the fingertip to fingertip. You can trace a beam through the chest and hands. And then let's bring it down. Good. And just like you're tracing a beam laterally or parallel to the floor, there is a perpendicular plumb down to the earth from your crown. You're going to shift the weight to your left foot. You're going to send that plumb through the skull, through the spine, down the leg, into the 4 corners of your foot. But most of us actually need to emphasize the inseam of our foot. The whole foot is down, but the inseam needs to stay down with our consciousness, with our attention. Plumb line out, or just a straight line out with the arms, and then go ahead and bring up the right knee. Breathing here. So be big. I know sometimes want to shrink to balance, but the bigger you make yourself feel, the easier it becomes to balance because you start to employ all these micro muscles that help us stabilize. We give them space to engage. And release that leg down. Good job. You're going to do the same thing, but you're going to practice in tree. So you're going to shift, think of the plumb through the skull, hip, leg, maybe the inseam of the foot if that helps you, but the whole foot must be down. It just wears our attention. Straight line out, tightrope line with the arms, and we're going to bring up the foot along the thigh. If you want, you're going to turn the left knee out at any point, tree pose. I'm more concerned about your balance today than the technicals of the shape. Try to use, if you're using a surface, use it as little as possible. Be big and use your breath now. Breathe and expand into your form. Stretch out like you're a balloon being inflated in all directions. That includes down into the floor. And let's release it. Okay, so sometimes when we start to get big, we lift up. Getting big means getting big downward into the earth too. Shift over into the right foot, arms broad, straight line across, straight line down, like you're making a T shape. Bring up the knee, let's turn the right knee out, tree pose, focusing on balance. Good, back down the center. Shift over to the right foot again. This time we're gonna get a little creative, we're gonna move. So you're gonna lift up the knee in front, and then you're gonna kick out. You can let the knee drop back down. I'm only kicking about this high, no problem. You're gonna kick out. Then you're gonna lift up the knee, and you're gonna swing it back. You can lean forward as you swing it back. And then you're gonna lift up the knee, and you're gonna turn out. And then you're gonna lower down. Okay, so that's our movement. We'll do it with the arms. Let's just go to the other side since we already kind of did it. Shift to the left foot, arms out. Inhale, right knee up. Kick it out. Up. Send it back. In the balance. Up. Turn it out. Center. And down. Try to link it to your breath, folks. That whole class is about sort of slowing us down and finding that breath template and feeling. See if you can use it to help you balance. I know we want to jump ahead with our minds. Shift into a breath conscious practice. Right leg stable. Open the arms. Here we go. Inhale up. Exhale kick. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale out. Inhale back. Exhale stand. Good. You can do it. You know what's happening now. Slow it down. Link it with your breath. And be in the present moments. Arms out. Left leg down. Draw those lines. Inhale. Right leg up. Exhale forward. Up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale open. Up. And relax it back down. Good. One more time. Do your best. The most challenging repetition yet. Still linked with our breath. Same sequence. Draw your lines. When I say draw your lines, it's not like a ballet teacher or something like, check your lines. We're doing these movements with our legs. It's giving me ballet vibes. I don't know anything about ballet. That's just what came into my mind. Arms out. Shift to the right leg. Let's do yogic ballet breathing. Inhale, knee up. Exhale, kick. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale open. Up. And rest it down. Good work. Inhale, draw your line, second side, last round. Inhale, up. Exhale, kick. Up. Exhale, back. Inhale, up. Exhale, open. Up. And rest down. Very good. Just rest a moment in your body. Turn your feet out a little bit. You can go step a little wider. And bend your knees, squat pose. Squat pose will come down to kneeling pose. Point the toes. You can sit between the heels or sit on top of a prop between the feet. Rest your hands in your lap. Let's soften our low back. We're not rounding. We're actually becoming more upright. We're taking our belly muscles and softening them towards our low back. Let the shoulders be relaxed and heavy. And practice breathing long and slow. Take your right hand, you might want to find a prop, like a bolster, or you'll just put it on the ground behind you. Do a little bit of back bend. Then you're going to swoop the left arm in a crescent shape, up and back. Keep the hips down. Then swoop that crescent shape back again and press back up. We'll take the left hand on the fingertips on a prop behind you if it's available. And then you're going to swoop the right arm across and up. And then back and down, coming back up. Right arm. Take the left arm across and up. And then back and up. Left arm. Swoop. And then back up. Good. Let's let our shoulders and our head grow heavy. Again, remembering to let the low back fill in just a little. Breathe into the side ribs like we did at the beginning of class, but a much different shape. Continue to try to settle and sink. The hands in front, remove any props, and then sit back. You want to sit on something, a little something, that's okay. Otherwise, you're going to take your legs out wide. And you can just let the legs fall open wide, however they land. The toes point up, that's great. If they turn out, that's great. Just be very passive. Check, maybe turned up feels better. Maybe turned out feels better. Whatever feels natural to your body. You're just going to ground down. Just let your shoulders hang here. Very passive stretch. Very passive stretch. Not forcing anything. Just kind of shape the skeleton and let the muscles shape around that. Let it breathe into the low back. Don't push the low back, but just let it feel full. Long, slow breath. When you're ready, you're going to roll up, bring the legs in, and slowly lower down into the mat. We're going to do an inversion. You can do a bridge pose where your feet are down and your hips are up. You can support that bridge if you want with some blocks. A little further, you could even lift your legs into the air. And even a little further still, go ahead and push all the way up into a shoulder stand if that's in your practice. I'm not going to lead that one today. We're just going to either do legs in the air or a supported bridge. One thing that's good to note is that the pelvis is kind of being tipped toward the bowl of your pelvis. It's being tipped towards your heart. You're not arching your back in today's inversion. Even if you're in bridge, the pelvis is being tipped towards the heart. Breathe long and slow. Just let the yoga, let the movements and the breathing do the work. Go ahead and come on down, rolling the spine into the floor. Give yourself a final twist to the right. And a final twist to the left. Come back to center, stretch out your legs, stretch out your arms. Take one final conscious deep breath, slow. Feel it in the body, and then rest. Roll to your side. Slowly come up. Namaste. Thank you for practicing.